Hello, boys and girls. It's Aunty Mimmi here. Today we've got a really fun book. Today's book is by Dr. Seuss, and it's called ABC, an amazing alphabet book. So sit back, get comfortable, and let's begin. Big A, little a. What begins with A? Aunt Annie's alligator. A. Big B, little b. What begins with B? Barber, baby, bubbles, and a bumblebee. Big C, little c. What begins with C? Camel on the ceiling. C. Big D, little d. What begins with D? Donuts and a duck dog. D. Big E, little e. What begins with E? Ear, egg, elephant. E. Big F, little f. What begins with F? 4 fluffy feathers on a feff. Big G, little g. What begins with G? Goat and a goo goggles. G. Big H, little h. What begins with H? Hungry horse, hen in a hat. H. Big I, little I. What begins with I? Itchy, Ichabod. I. Big J, little j. What begins with J? Jerry Jordan's jelly jar. J. Big K, little k. What begins with K? Kangaroo and kite. K. Big L, little l. What begins with L? Lion with a lollipop. L. Big M, little m. What begins with M? Mice in the moonlight. M. Big N, little n. What begins with those? 9 new neckties, nightshirt, nose. Big O, little o. What begins with O? Ostrich, oil, orange owl. O. Big P, little p. What begins with P? Painting some pajamas pink. P. Big Q, little q. What begins with Q? The quick Queen of Quincy and a quacking quackaroo. Big R, little r. What begins with R? Rosie's red rhinoceros. R. Big S, little s. What begins with S? Sammy's sipping soda pop. S. Big T, little t. What begins with T? 10 tired turtles on a tuttle tree. Big U, little U, what begins with U? Uncle Ob's umbrella and his underwear too. Big V, little V, what begins with V? Werner, Vera, Vin and a violet violin. Big W, little W, what begins with W? Willie's in the wash tub, washing Waldo Woo. Big X, little X, what begins with X? X-ray and a xylophone, X, X, X. Big Y, little Y, what begins with Y? A yawning yellow yak with Yolanda on his back. Big Z, little Z, what begins with Z? A zigger, zagger, Zeus, as you can plainly see. Well, boys and girls, that was a very silly book, wasn't it? But I really enjoyed it. I hope you did too. So as always, I want you to look after one another, be kind to one another, and try to be happy every single day. So until next time, bye-bye.